you know.
Latest football news,
engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio for another week of football action with your host, as always, George. Hope you've had a good week. Sorry for no shows for the last 2 weeks. I had COVID 1 week and we all went on holiday the other week. We had a little quick holiday before the season begins, but don't worry, we're all back now here on Pitchside Talk. And as always, I better introduce my co-host for this week's show. It is our resident Ipswich Town fan. It is Dan. Dan, how are you doing, mate? Long time no see, but finally we are back.
Yes, I know. It's so good to be back, isn't it? And I can't believe I'm saying this, but football is nearly back. I mean, it's gone very quickly, hasn't it? But I'm buzzing for football to be back again this weekend. Get it in.
Yes, it is getting ever closer. I'm getting so excited because it is back. It's back. We're only a matter of hours now away. Less than 24 hours before kickoff. Dan, that's going to be. And it's in July as well. It's not in August. It's in July. We've got football back in July. This is a new territory. This is a bit crazy. But before we even talk about what's coming in today's show, I better mention the social medias. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk. Instagram is at Talk_Pitch, and YouTube Mixcolour, both at Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen back to our own previous shows, do not worry, all up there on YouTube and Mixcolour. So what is coming in today's show? Well, we'll be talking about Ipswich Town, about, signings. Another signing was made pre-season that came to an end against Southend. We'll be reviewing Town's pre-season and their campaign that's come in League One as well. Where will they be finishing in League One? And previewing Ipswich Town versus Bolton Wanderers for this game tomorrow on Saturday. And then we'll be doing a massive football roundup. We'll be talking about the Women's Euros as well and whatever else has been going on in football, because there's been a lot going on. A lot has happened. Barcelona have been buying players for money that they don't have. So that is a thing. But we'll get onto that a little bit later on. But when we come back, we'll be talking about Ipswich Town and what has been going on in the last week. So don't go anywhere.
Stay up to date with the latest footy news.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio with your host, always George, joined by my co-host, as always, Dan, for another week of football action here on Pitchside Talk, Fridays at 5 p.m. Now, before we move on talking about Ipswich Town this week, I better mention the social media. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk, Instagram is at Talk_Pitch, YouTube is both at Pitchside Talk. If you want us back to our previous shows, do not worry, we're up there on YouTube and Mixcloud. Now, finally, Ipswich Town news time. Yes, we're back after a few weeks away from the show. We have missed so much Town news. It is unreal, Dan. We've missed lots of preseason games, probably, four preseason games in that time. Signings, we've missed one signing. Yeah, one
Two,
signing.
I think.
Two? I remember one. Maybe one.
Okay.
Maybe one or two.
Did we talk about Hearts? I can't remember.
No, we haven't talked about him. That's the one of them we haven't talked about. I can't remember the other one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We've missed...
No, I mean, it was so long ago that we recorded. I can't remember.
It's been too long, guys. We're trying to blow off the cobwebs here and it's not really working. Maybe we need to press the refresh button. But yeah, we've missed signings, and especially one from a club, a rival as well. I'm going to call them a rival because they are a rival, because they think we're a rival, and I think they are a little bit as well. And we are getting ever so closer to the start of the league season. But before we talk about that start of the league season and the final preseason game, before the preseason game even was kicked off, the night before, Ipswich Town announced another signing was joining the club. And it has been somebody who we talked about, funny enough, a few weeks back on the last show. And it was a left back by the name of Leif Davis from Leeds. But he has now been finally announced as Ipswich Town brand new signing for a fee of over £1 million for the left back, for the 22-year-old left back, joining Ipswich Town. He has had 16 senior starts for Leeds. He has had a loan as well at AFC Bournemouth, but he has put pen to paper for a 3-year deal. And also as well, Dan, you like this as well, a further 12-month extension as well as an option. We all love that here on this show. But yeah, he is now Kieran McKenna's 6th signing, and the second one he has paid for some money as well. Dan, Leif Davis, the rumours are true. They finally came true. He has joined Ipswich Town. And this is somebody that a lot of people are quite excited about, really. He is a very attacking, energetic left back, something that fits the system of the wing backs, which is something that we've been crying out for. We've got Burns on the right, but that left-hand side was a bit of an issue last season with lots of players playing, I think, probably 7 at one point, different combinations of left backs. But, we're sort of seeing the revival of the left back position. We've had Greg Lee playing there at the moment, the brand new signing from Morecambe. But now we've got Leif Davis coming here from Leeds. There's going to be a lot of competition left back. But first of all, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think to Leif Davis?
I mean, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? I think we knew about this signing quite a long time ago. But yeah, an exciting signing from what I've heard of him. Obviously, he hasn't. Did you say 16 starts or appearances for Leeds? Probably not starts. But I mean, he's played for Leeds, so he's an attacking fullback, isn't he? Which, as you say, is something that kind of fits our system and fits the McKenna way of playing. I think we've all been wanting that Wes Burns on the left-hand side, haven't we? I think the left-hand side was probably our weakest area last year. That's what I thought anyway. We were kind of getting, a lot of the time, teams would be going down our left, trying to get a mistake out of, it was Thompson for half the season.
Yeah.
And before that, try and jog my memory, I can't remember. We had Clements, didn't we?
Yeah,
and Penny as well, of course, and Penny, which
Coulson
as well, of course, loan from Borough, forgot about that. But it's been an area that we need to improve. So hopefully Leif Davis comes in and does that. We paid £1 million for him, so McKenna and Ashton obviously see a bit of worth in him, and I really, really hope he's a success here, because I think if we've got that attacking left back, the same, similar to Burns, let's say, on that left-hand side, then I think we're ready to go, aren't we? So let's see if he starts on Saturday. It will be interesting. I think it might be a Greg Lee start on Saturday, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm really excited to see how he does, and really exciting.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that, because he was unveiled on the Monday night, and then he was at the Southend game on the Tuesday. He walked out. He did the town thing where he walked out the tunnel, took 5 steps, and went back into the tunnel when they announced him. But I was going to ask you, do you think he will start on Saturday? Because he has had a full preseason. You have to remember, he has been with Leeds in their tour in Australia. He has had a full preseason with Jesse March's side. But has this game here against Bolton come a little bit too early for him? And will we see Greg Lee, who we can't say, he is a good player himself, but there's going to be a lot of competition for the left back. And I think if we look at it right now, Leif Davis would be potentially starting over him because of the money aspect.
I mean, you'd say so, but I guess it just comes down to who's performing better. But talking about Saturday, I'm expecting Greg Lee to be in there. I think maybe it's a little bit too early for Davis. I think he needs to maybe train a bit more to get used to the way we play. As you say, he's had a full pre-season, so he's got that under his belt. So it's not like he's going to be unfit coming into the season. But I think Greg Lee will probably start. And as you say, he's had a very good pre-season and looks a pretty good player himself, and another attacking fullback. So we've got a lot of competition throughout the squad, really. We've still got Penny here as well. If he could get a look in, maybe. I doubt it, but we'll wait and see. But I mean, you'd expect Davis to probably start his first game against Forest Green in that away game. But you never know. McKenna might think he's ready. He might start on Saturday against Bolton, which will be good to see.
Yes, that will be good to see. Well, we better move on now away from Leif Davis and now going back into the correlation events and what happened on Tuesday night in Ipswich Town's final pre-season game versus Southend at home. And well, it was a very interesting pre-season game, which saw Ipswich Town come out on top with a victory to get the last one for the pre-season this year, a 3-1 win over Southend, thanks from goals from John Jules, as I'm going to say, it rolls off the tongue very nicely. John Jules. Don't worry, I haven't got mad just yet. I just like saying John Jules like that. Greg Lee and Freddie the Dapo, as well as Town cruised to a 3-1 victory in that game. Dan, the final preseason game has happened. We will talk about all the others as well, but I want to get your thoughts on this here. Kind of a convincing win, really, by Town. They played effectively what I think a lot of fans will call the second string team, which saw a lot of second string players get minutes into legs. Carl Edwards back as well, getting quite a lot of minutes. But we've got to see Greg Lee play a lot. Also John Jules, Jackson, and also this 4-3-3 system, which Town looked pretty neat in. But then we saw what would potentially be the first team get 15 minutes of a run out in the last end. But for McKenna, he did sort of highlight about, his side has learned a lesson from that game, with the first half once being so dominant, then the second half just being very lapse in concentration, which saw Southend get back into it. But is that the best lesson to have, really, to have this lack of concentration in a game like this where they've actually conceded? Now they know what it's like to concede, and they don't want that to happen again.
No, they don't. Obviously, that's a big thing, I think, in this squad. And I think in this Southend game, we were dominant in the first half. We're winning 1-0 at the break, of course, but dominant in the first half, but hadn't put the game away, which is something that under McKenna has been probably one of our weakest areas, that we haven't been able to score them goals to put the games to bed. So it's good to see that, it's good to see the B team, I suppose you'd call them, get a run out and get minutes and get goals as well. But to see McKenna change it and bring on them first team players to get the win over the line, really good to see as well. I think any game is important to get a win. A winning mentality is massive. So to get that final win and, a pretty decent performance as well, no matter the opposition. It was really good to see. And I think to see some of the, the three new boys score the goals as well, I think that's exciting as well. We've got some decent signings on our hands, I think. So, yeah, I'm really excited for the start of the season. I think this pre-season friendly, very close to the start of the season, actually. We never really have a game that close to the start of the season, do we? It was only a couple of days. But, I mean, that gets the fitness in, doesn't it? So, yeah, I mean, a decent performance. Shame that we conceded that goal, a sloppy goal. I've heard. I wasn't actually at the game. Yeah, big Ipswich Town fan I am. Even you were there. So
yeah, I was.
What am I doing? But yeah, I mean, really good to see a win, and hopefully we can take that into that first game. That bit of winning mentality and confidence.
Yeah, bit of winning mentality and confidence. Before we get on to that, I'd say it's currently 1-1 the scores here for Ipswich Town games now, because you've seen the West Ham game, which I didn't see.
Yeah.
It's 2-1, actually. It's 2-1, because I see Needham Market.
No, you're winning.
Well, do we want to count that game? Can we count that? It was pre-season, wasn't it? It was.
And there wasn't there like 2 penalty shootouts in it as well or something?
Yeah, there was.
It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, 30-minute halves.
Yeah, it probably doesn't count, does it?
No, but no. Right, okay, we'll say no on the technicality. No.
Okay.
But so it's 1-1. It's level pegging here.
Right.
So I don't think I'll win, but I'll do my damnedest to try my best here. You'll probably go to a few away games, don't you? I know you're cheeky like that. You'll go to a few London games. I can imagine this.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hope so. That'll be nice. I mean, we got Cambridge around my birthday, so that's one on my list.
He's already eyeing them up. But yeah, we better actually get back on to what we're talking about here. And Ipswich Town. Yes, some interesting comments there by you, Dan, and also highlight what McKenna said. But yeah, I don't remember the last time a preseason game being this close to season. Maybe a week before the season start. Not a couple of days, not even 4 days.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact. But they've got to cram in the games somehow. But we're going to now look at Town's pre-season because it's been an interesting pre-season, I think we have to say. They've played 7 games from June to July, so only sort of really a space of a month. But they started off with a win against Needham Market 7-0, which was that very funny game we was just talking about, where there's 30-minute halves, 2 penalty shootouts down either end. Very weird. I saw Christian Walter take the ball to the face to save a penalty. So that was right up and close. And I tell you something, Dan, he's a very tall man.
He is, isn't he? Yeah. You don't realise how tall he is.
He's tall.
Yeah.
He's taller than any other average fellow I've seen before.
Except Thomas Holy, of course.
Yeah, he was tall. A fun story. I remember seeing him once in town, and he was so tall, he stuck out like a sore thumb. But to make himself stick out more like a sore thumb, he wore a pink hoodie and pink tracksuits. I kid you not. That is true. And if you know where I am in Ipswich Town, I'll tell you, it's by Cardinal Park by the KFC. That was him, and he stuck out like a sore thumb. I thought being that tall, you stick out, and you need to sort of be a little bit more incognito. But no, bright pink. Fair play to the man. Fair play to him.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, we're getting sidetracked still. But yeah, so a 7-0 win against Needham Market, and then that behind closed doors game against Arsenal, which ended a 4-1 loss to its town. Then a 2-1 loss to West Ham at Portman Road. Then a 4-2 loss to Crystal Palace behind closed doors at their training ground. But then the same day, they beat AFC Wimbledon 3-0. And then that 1-1 draw to Millwall away at the Den. And then finally the 3-1 win against South. And Dan, I think at the start of the preseason, look at all these games the Town played. I think all these results here, it's just Town fans, probably 9 out of 10 would have taken these here, because this is quite a solid mixed bag for McKenna, because he's won when he's had to win against sides at his level. Unfortunately, he's lost the games to the bigger sides at the Premier League sides, but to score goals against the Premier League sides is pretty good, and to hold their own a little bit in those games. But the most notable result really for me is that draw to Millwall, because that is a Championship side who are probably the closest that Town are going to get to a League One relative of the sides here. But that's quite a big win here. But what are your thoughts on the pre-season results? Would you taken these at the start?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a pretty good pre-season. As you see, the games that we have lost are against teams you'd expect us to lose to. And in those games, we performed well. I mean, I went to the West Ham game. We were the better side in the second half, and maybe we should have got an equaliser at the end. So we definitely haven't disgraced ourselves, and we scored goals against Arsenal and got back them 2 goals against Palace when we were 4 down as well. And then won the games that we needed to as well. But as you say, that Millwall draw was a really kind of interesting one, considering Millwall finished, in the top half of the Championship last season. So to get a draw at the Den, I mean, that's a very good result, whether it's been a pre-season or not. So I think we can look at this pre-season and think, yeah, it's been pretty good, and we've performed pretty well and got the results when we can. And I think, I mean, I don't know if I can speak for other Town fans, but I'm excited after seeing these games of what we can do this season, because I don't think I've seen a pre-season really when we've performed consistently. I think it's been a really good one, and really, really good games to watch as well. So it can only be good for the season ahead, can't it, with the confidence of the players and getting that mentality, as I said before. I mean, we're all begging for a good season, so hopefully this could be the start of it.
Am I allowed to say, is it our time?
I'm not going to say yes or no just yet. Well, tell me at Christmas, and I'll let you know.
You hear that here first. I'm not allowed to ask that until Christmas.
Yeah.
Disappointing. I thought I was going to get some juicy gossip there, but we didn't. But that's the preseason. But we're now going to move on to the signs. The transfer window is not closed yet. Disclaimer, is not closed yet. Got another month. Have we still got another month for the transfer window? Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
It was weird to say that.
Yeah, usually it ends before the start of the season. Well, usually, but it doesn't really sometimes. But yeah, there's only still another month to go of the transfer window. And Town have been quite busy in the transfer window, making 6 sign. Have we made 6? No, we have made 6. Made 6
Yeah.
signings. I had to just jog my memory there. I've got the list here, but one of the names blended into the other one, and I thought it was 5 more than 6. But yeah, but Town have signed Leif Davis, Marcus Harness, Dominic Ball, Freddie Ladapo, Greg Lee, and Tyrese John Jules. John Jules being on a loan. And then going out has been Piggott, Holy, Norwood, McGavin, Dobra, and Clements. Disclaimer: Piggott is on a loan to Portsmouth. In that as well, Town have spent a 1.6 million, reportedly 1 million on Leif Davis and 600k on Marcus Harness, and the rest have been free or John Jules, who has been a loan. But Dan, a very interesting sort of ins and outs really for this Town. I think the outs, we expected a lot of them because they were all released. Piggott, I think we maybe more expected to be going on a permanent deal, but that hasn't come through, and that's been a loan deal to Portsmouth, which has allowed Marcus Harness to come to the club. But the signings Town have made here have been very clever ones, because 3 of them have been on a free basis, which is very good, and they have been from 2 League One clubs and from a Championship club. Then we've had John Jules come in from Arsenal, who has had experience in League One. He has played before in this level, but also as well, we signed what arguably one of Pompey's best players in Marcus Harness last season, who looked pretty good. And a lot of Town fans who said that when Pompey played, that they would have taken Marcus Harness as one of the players, and also Leif Davis as well. But what do you think the Town's transfer activity? Do you think it could be a little bit better? Because there has been a lot of talk about this 20 per goal season striker who is not here yet and is unnamed because we don't know who it will be. And no Selena. You have been crying out for Selena. I've been seeing your tears, but there's no Selena here yet, or not yet, whatever.
No, I don't think that's going to happen now, unfortunately. So I'll go and cry some more. But no, I think this transfer window, as you say, it's been a smart window, hasn't it? I mean, we haven't spent all our money. We haven't been stupid like some other clubs do and spent all the money that we have on players that we don't really need. And we've, looked at where we need to strength and, been smart with our business. I think getting those free transfers in, as a lot of people said, and I'm sure everyone knows, you don't need to spend all your money to get out of this league. If you're smart with the signings and getting Ladapo and Ball as free signings, and then John Jules on loan, of course, really good business. And then spend your money where you need to and improve, the areas that you need to. I think getting Harness in was a really good signing. As you say, Pompey's probably their best player last season, and to replace him with Piggott, I mean, I don't know how Ashton pulled that off really, but he did. And to get that £1 million deal for Leif Davis as well, really good signing. Who have I missed out? Oh my god, my mind's going blank.
I don't know actually. Who have you missed out? I actually don't know. My mind's gone blank as well. It's not helpful.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, I think this transfer window has been less busy than last year. And I think maybe people thought we'd be signing more players, but to get 6 in the door, I think is fine, because I think our squad was good enough as it is in the first place. So to just add them players that we need to improve the squad where we need to is I think Ashton and McKenna have done pretty well. But yeah, there's that 20 goals a season striker that we wanted, but you never know. Ladapo might be the player to do that. We'll have to wait and see. But as you say, then there's still a month for the window to go. There might be another 1 or 2 coming in. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, Ladapo might be the player, but I have to ask the question: does 7 equal heaven? Will there be, the 7th signing? Will that happen? We'll have to wait and see.
I'm sure it will, but I mean, we're not really linked with anyone, are we? That's the thing. I mean, to be fair, this window, we haven't really been linked the players we signed, have we? They've kind of been at surprise. I think a lot of in the knows on Twitter have been surprised by the signings we've made this year.
Yeah, well,
this transfer window.
well, the only one that's been sort of really linked was Leif Davis, and that was the start of July when that was
Yeah.
sort of starting. Mate, Ladapo, that was a little sort of when he came through. I think a lot of people sort of said, "Oh, yeah, he could get it switch," but there's nothing concrete on that. And then the rest, like you say, have been really out of the blue. Marcus Harness, maybe, like you said, the people in the know sort of knew about that. There was talk the day before, wasn't it, that could go ahead, but it's kind of a little bit unlikely. But yeah, there hasn't been too much on that. But before we get on to the League One predictions this season, we have got some more news. We've got a new contract has been signed at Ipswich Town for for one of the players that are currently there. One of Ipswich Town's young stars, Corey. Oh God, Dan, I've gone blank.
Ndaba.
Ndaba. Why did I go blank? I saw it. I was like, Ndaba. And then I got onto it and I just go, but yeah, yes, Corey Ndaba has signed a new deal, putting pen to paper to a 3-year extension at Ipswich Town. He was committed. I can't be. He's committed to whatever, but he has now signed until the summer of 2025, and also as well, he has got an extra 12-month extension as well if he wants it, which is nice at Town. But yeah, he is now following in the footsteps of Wolverton, Baggett, and Humphreys as well, who have signed new deals at the club. But Dan, an interesting deal really for Corey. We haven't really seen him too much in an Ipswich Town shirt, if we can be perfectly honest. He has been out on loan, but he did go out on loan to Salford City and did have a very successful campaign with Salford City last season in League Two. But now for him, is this a chance for him now to try and kick on and to potentially get into this Town side? Because I think if you ask a lot of Town fans, they will say he is probably 4th or 5th centre-back, really, in the pecking order. Right? I think we all know the top 3, which is Emerson, Danastian, and Wolfton, which is a sensational top 3. But he's now the one who's now sitting on the outside here in a 4th place or 5th place. But will this new deal now mean he's going to get more chances at the club now and this season, and actually at Portman Road instead on loan like how Baggett's gone?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think, as you say, a lot of fans will think he's 4th choice. So if one of the centre backs, something happens, it's going to be between Ndaba and Burgess for that spot, I think. But yeah, really good to see him get a new deal. Another youngster coming through the ranks, getting the deal they deserve, and he had a really good spell on loan at Salford. And I think him and Baggett probably are in the same kind of boat, aren't they? The same kind of level of player at the moment, I guess, coming into the Ipswich defence. So, Baggett went out on loan, which was interesting, and I thought we could have kept him, and maybe it would have been Ndaba to go out on loan, but it's the other way around, which is fine. I think he's good as backup, and to get him on a contract with a extension as well, sealing the future of Ipswich Town at the club early is what these new owners seem to like to do. So it can only be good, can't it?
Yes, it only can be good. Well, we now talk about the big thing. League predictions time for the campaign, the 2022 to 2023 campaign in League One. Dan, last season we made very bold predictions, didn't we, for Ipswich Town? Promotion was all after all these signings, but it ended with 11th place, like the season before that. But this time, does it feel different? This time feels different to all the rest, doesn't it? It feels like this is now Town's time to state their claim and get promotion. League One looks tougher this season than it did last year. But what we've seen from the end of League One and under Kieran McKenna in his first half of the season, the future looks bright. But now for Town, is this a make or break season, really? Because if they don't get near if they don't even get in the top 6 and they miss out on that, this could be another few years of rebuilding just to try even get out of this league. So this is a big year again.
Yeah, it is another big year. And I mean, you think about it, the longer we are in League One, the more these American backers aren't going to be wanting to back a team that are so far down in the English pyramid, are they? So we need to go out as soon as we can. And it does feel different this season. I know we've probably said that every season we've had so far in League One. But it seems like there's a legitimate plan this year. Last year it was just all out attack and get all the best players we can. It didn't work out for Cook, unfortunately. But I think this time there's a plan, and McKenna has a plan, and I'm looking forward to this season and really hope we can do well because we need to get out of this league. And with all the modernising of the stadium and everything, you think that you look at that stadium, you say that's a top end championship stadium, and we don't want to be languishing in League One with all this money being spent on improving the stadium and the squad and everything pretty much at the club. So fingers crossed we go up this year. We'll be in and around it. I'm sure we will be. I think defensively, we probably have the best defense in the league, or one of them at least. We just need to sort out that goal scoring. And whether Ladapo and John Jules and Harness, the new signings, can help with that, we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully a successful season.
Successful season. What position are you going for then, mate?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I've said fourth. I think we'll finish fourth, which I will take as a playoff place. I think fourth will be a decent season. I'd love to be top two because I don't think my heart would be able to take a playoff semi-final or any playoff game really. But I just think there's too many good teams in this league this year. We've got Derby, who have, you look at their signings, they've made some massive signings. Sheffield Wednesday looking strong. We've got Peterborough down here again. Wickham as well, MK Dons. There's so many good teams in this league. So I think finishing fourth will be a decent finish in the end. But, I mean, who knows? We could finish higher. Let's hope we don't finish lower than that. I'd hope for if we finish fifth and sixth, I'd probably take that as well. But, yeah, fourth place for Town this year. Fair
enough. I actually agree with you. I reckon it's going to be top six. But I can't think where in the top six. It's either going to be in my head. It's either third place and we missed out on the top two by a point, or we're in the top two for the longest period in the world, but we missed out on it by one loss, or we either scrape it in by six somehow. I don't know why. I'm thinking just scrape it in. The squad we've got, but the competition as well is super tough this year. I think you have said with all those teams that come down and Derby rebuilding and the teams from last season. But yeah, it's somewhere in the top six for me. I don't mind where, as long as it's in the top six, I'll happily take that, and then we just go from there. So we'll go from there. But it is now time to do the first big preview of the season for Ipswich Town versus Bolton, and the start of the 2022 to 23 league season is here as Ipswich Town look to right the wrongs of last season and earn a promotion back to the Championship this season. But up first, it is Bolton Wanderers, who finished in ninth place last season, having a strong end to last season, finishing 2 places above Town, 3 points to be precise. And also in that season, they beat Town twice, 5-2 at Portman Road. Who can forget that? And also the 2-0 loss at their place as well. But Dan, the wait is over. The League One season is finally here. It's been a long wait since April, but this is going to be such a big game really for both sides to kick off the season, because this is potentially what we're calling here promotion rivals already early on this season. But the first question I have to ask you is, who is going to come out on top?
Yeah, it's an interesting game to start the season off. It's going to be a really tough one, and as you say, I think Bolton will probably be up there with us during this season. I think they're going to be one of those teams. Just from the run they had at the end of last season was impressive. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game to start the season off. But I think there's just a confidence at the club at the moment with the fans and the manager and the owners and the players. I think are confident here as well. I can only predict a win, I think, to start the season off. I'm going to go for a narrow 1-0 win for Town and 3 points. but of course, it will be a tough game against a really good Bolton side. So hopefully, it'll be a good occasion with also, the big crowd going to be there. And I think a win to start us off against a good team will be perfect. So yeah, 1-0 to Town.
Well, then Dan is going for a 1-0 victory for Ipswich Town in the league opener against the Bolton Wanderers at Portman Road. Let us know your score predictions on Twitter at Pitchside Talk. What will happen? Will Ipswich Town come on top? Will Bolton get their first 3 points of the season, or will it end in a draw? Let us know on Twitter. And that is all for your Ipswich Town roundup this week. And when we come back, we'll be doing a massive football roundup where we'll be talking about the Women's Euro 2022 semi-finals and all the other football news you have missed as well. So don't go anywhere.
The best place in Ipswich to hear the latest football debates, Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. Fridays at 5 p.m. for another week of football action with your co-host always, George, joined with my co-host always, Dan, for another week of football action here on IO Radio. Now, before we move on talking about the massive football roundup we've got, because we talked so long about Ipswich Town, I better mention the social media. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk, Instagram's at Talk_Pitch, YouTube and Mixcloud both at Pitchside Talk. And if you've missed anything from today's show, do not worry. At 6 p.m. on Friday, this will be out on YouTube Mixcloud for you to listen back to whenever you like to catch up on all the bits that you have missed so far from the Ipswich Town section. But now it's time for football roundup. Hooray! We love a bit of a football roundup. And we are starting off with the Women's Euros 2022. The semi-finals have happened. They happened on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I missed Tuesday's game. I know it was England, but I missed it because I was at Southend. But Dan, you watched it, didn't you? So
I did,
everything happened. See, you're a true England fan, unlike me. True.
Yeah, disappointed.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't have 3 lions on the shirt. I had a horse instead on the shirt in the bag.
Yeah.
Which I don't know which one's better. But we are actually going to start with that. That's more important. But we are going to start with that. And that was England versus Sweden in the first semi-finals, with England aiming to make the final for the first time since 2009. But we're playing Sweden, who are very high up in the ranks, and also as well were the finalist in the Olympics not so long ago. But England have reached their first major women's tournament final since 2009 in what we have to say in beautiful fashion. 4 goals past Sweden to book their place at Wembley at Bramall Lane. Some brilliant goals tonight from Beth Mead, Lucy Braun, Russo and Kirby as well. That back heel goal as well, Dan, I think meant to say is pure perfection, isn't it? That's just pure perfection.
Yeah, it was disgusting, wasn't it?
So disgusting. I had to whisper it because it's disgusting. But yeah, Dan, the Lionesses have made it to Wembley. Glory! 2 years back to back, England sides have made it to the final. Funny enough, in the Euros as well, England, the 3 Lions, the men's side, made it to Euro 2020 and 2021 final, and now the Lionesses have repeated the same feat, make it to the Euros 2022 final, extending their unbeaten run, funny enough, to 19 games in the process. But what a game they played! They played Sweden out the park, didn't they?
They did, yeah. It was a really, really good game. I think it started a bit slowly, but I mean, as time went on, I don't think you really doubted that England were going to come away with the win. It was very dominant. I think Sweden had a few chances, but it was really, really all England. And the goals were brilliant as well. Beth Mead's goal was a really good finish, and that back heel from Russo as well, as we've said, it was fantastic. The Swedish keeper didn't have the best game, but we don't care, do we? A 4-0 win against Sweden to get to the final. I mean, we'll take that, and that, gets us into another final, which is a really exciting. And it's exciting as well to see people enjoying women's football. I think it's really good to see that people are invested in it. again, I think we had that in the World Cup as well. So it's really good to see, and really, really great to see England doing well as well. So yeah, can't wait for the final now. Let's see how they do. Let's hope for a really good performance like this one, if we can carry that on. I mean, will it be is football coming home?
Well, it could be.
It could be.
It could be. But the other semi-final was played the day after that, and that was Germany versus France. Germany, the team that has won this competition 8 times, are playing France, who, well, one of the favourites to win this competition, and they battled out in the semi-final at Stadium MK. And we were joking beforehand, that is the fullest that's ever been Stadium MK. So MK Don fans, you've got to up your game now, because a new record has been set at your stadium. And Germany will play England in the final in Euro 2022 after beating France in a dramatic semi-final in a 2-1 win, thanks to 2 goals from Pop. Yes, that is correct. 2 goals from Pop. It was 2-1 on the night. But Dan, Germany in the final, they're aiming for their 9th title. They're on course for it as well. But I had to say, it's a big heartbreak for France, because France were one of the favourites. They did beat the defending champions, the Netherlands, in the last round, but couldn't do Germany. But for Germany, it's just the German machine. It rolls on. But for England, it's typical. They make it to their first final since 2009. And it's Germany of all teams they've got to be in the final. But it's going to be a brilliant final, whatever happens, because the final has been sold out. That it is a sold out capacity of 87,200 people being at the final. But whatever happens on that day, it's going to be a brilliant final.
It is, yeah, and that's really good to hear that it's sold out. As I said, it's good to see women's football getting the attention it deserves, because it's been a fantastic tournament, and yeah, it's going to be a really good game. Hopefully, yeah, it's typical. We have to play Germany, of course. We always play Germany in a major tournament, it seems, but hopefully, it can be 2 wins against Germany in major tournaments in a row. That would be nice, but it's going to be a tough game, of course. I mean, Germany are. They're brilliant in these tournaments, as you say. They've won so many in the past. Was it 8? Did you say they'd won?
Yeah, 8
in the past. Yeah, 8. So they're a powerhouse in this competition. So it's going to be a tough one, and they get to another final. So, but I think with this England team, they're full of confidence, and it can go either way. I feel like I reckon these teams are probably quite similar in quality. So hopefully it'll be a really good game in front of a bumper crowd. It's going to be a great atmosphere. And hopefully we can bring the trophy home. I'll be looking forward to it.
Yes, we'll be looking forward to it. Now it's time to move on to some other news, but I have to say before we go, remember to watch the final this Sunday, 5 p.m. kickoff. England versus Germany at Wembley. It's going to be brilliant. So you better be watching it, because I will be definitely watching it. I'm definitely watching it, because it is coming home. I don't care. I'm saying it now. It is coming home. England are going to win. You heard it here first. They don't care what else happens. England are going to win. All right? That's all we need to know. But Dan, we're now moving on into more of the football news that's coming up. And I hear you've got some news for us first. So would you like to start?
Yes, I've got some transfer news, and some quite recent transfer news as well. Everton have dug into their pockets and signed Burnley winger Dwight McNeil. I mean, he's a decent player, isn't he? Signed him on a 5-year contract. I wouldn't say this signing excites me, I'd say, but he was a decent player for Burnley, and I think quite an exciting. I think he was. I mean, people were saying. Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else. Never mind. But McNeil, anyway. Is it really a signing that Everton need to help them get away from that bottom 3? We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, good luck to him. He made 140 appearances for Burnley in the Premier League, so he must have been doing something right. But £20 million deal is an interesting one. We'll have to see if it pays off for Everton.
Yes, we'll have to see if it does. And I've got some news as well. Pitch Invaders, the Premier League and the EFL will be introducing new measures to tackle fan behaviour, with automatic bans now being put in place under the new measures. But there'll be a lot more stuff going on now at the grounds. Working with clubs to improve searches of individuals, increasing sniffer dogs at ground, working on social media platforms to remove fan-generated videos of illegal behaviour, and also potentially ban accompanying parents or guardians of children who take part in illegal behaviour. And also smoke bombs are now going to be prohibited as well as for these games as well. This comes in after sort of the ugly scenes we saw at the end of the season where Everton fans came onto the pitch after their side beat Crystal Palace, where we saw Patrick Vieira was racially abused by one fan and all sorts of naughty stuff like that. Also, Robin Olsen as well was assaulted at Manchester City on the final day of the season when their fans invaded the pitch. And also we saw the Nottingham Forest fan who was jailed for headbutting Billy Sharp at the end of their playoff match as well. But it's good to see some findings of matches being taken, because it was really quite stupid. I think it was actually ruining games of football, really having fans run onto the pitch at the end of games. It shouldn't be tolerated, and this sort of stuff shouldn't be happening, because football should be a safe place and a safe environment to go and watch games as well and enjoy yourself. But Dan, have you got any more news for me?
Yes, I've got some more transfer news, and this is an interesting one. Zinchenko, Man City left back. I think he played midfield for Ukraine, but he joins Arsenal from Manchester City on a permanent deal. I mean, this is a really interesting one. I think it's 30 million. I mean, a really decent player. I really like Zinchenko. I think he was a really good player for Manchester City. So, I mean, Arsenal signing him on a long-term deal, I think, is a really interesting signing. He does say he has a hope and smell for titles. We'll have to wait and see about that, joining Arsenal. But I think it is, a smart one from Arsenal. And I think he'll be a success there. I think he's a really decent player. And I mean, Arsenal, they're obviously looking to be top four. Is this signing going to help them get that? I think maybe it's on their way to getting into that top four with this signing. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But yeah, pretty decent signing, I'd say.
Has he not won enough titles, I have to say, in his statement?
Yeah, I know.
He's won.
I know. Smell for titles. I thought, yeah, he's won enough already. What's he talking about?
Does he mean the Champions League, which you'll never get a chance to? Nah, joking.
Yeah.
Joking there.
Are you really though?
No, not really. But I've got one more bit of fun news before we end the show today, and that is Ben Mee has joined Brentford on a loan on a free transfer after departing from Burnley this summer. He has joined the Bees on a 2-year deal, the 32 as well, who spent 11 years at Burnley. He spent 11 years there. That's absolutely crazy. Where, fun enough, at the end of last season, he was actually the caretaker's coach. Funny enough, he was the caretaker coach assistant alongside Mike Jackson as Burnley were relegated. But good sign there for Brentford, who lost, unfortunately, Christian Eriksen to Manchester United, but replacing that with another free signing as well does not hurt at all as well. But Dan, that is the end of the show this week. I want to thank you very much for joining me this week. But will you be here next week when we'll be talking about Ipswich Town and the first game of the season against Bolton? Oh, it's going to be exciting.
It is exciting. Hopefully it'll be a happy show as well. I mean, if there's not a result, I don't know what I'll be saying, but I mean, yeah, let's wait and see. But yeah, I'm buzzing for next week. Let's hope it's positive. Fingers crossed.
Let's hope it's positive. We'll be talking also as well about the Women's Euros final as well, because that's happening on Sunday, and a little bit of a taster because the Premier League is back. The Premier League's going to be back as well. That's a overload of football at once. It's good to have, but at the same time, whoa, that's a big year of football back at once. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But Dan, thank you so much for being on the show this week. If you want to follow us on social medias, please do. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk. Instagram is at Talk_Pitch. YouTube and Mixcloud, both at Pitchside Talk. And if you missed anything from today's show, do not worry. It's up. It's going to be up on YouTube and Mixcloud in the next few minutes, where you can just listen back to what we've been talking about in today's show. So I have been George as always. He has been Dan. We'll see you next week, and ciao.
Yeah.
Latest football news,
Engaging debates.
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.